And this is Nemesis Stars, and apparently I have to make this topic on the video since I was recently attacked in a live stream about the whole thing with not having a job and all whatever, you know what I mean, and also being in a bedroom, which I will explain to everyone out there right now. So apparently to everyone, that all the kids that attacked me and whatever, I have a condition that stops me from going outside on my own. Now, I have a illness called genetic epilepsy, which basically is a combination of like other versions of epilepsy. Now, mine is also tonic, clonic sort of epilepsy, myoclonic tonic epilepsy. Basically, what it means is I get the shakes. So mine is the shaking epilepsy, where usually it would start from the hands and it would spread through the entire body. It's dangerous, it's not safe. Like, basically, me and my sister can get it anytime, anywhere. We can get it during our sleep, we can get it without warning, we can get it pretty much during the day as well, which is dangerous. We can get it any time, and we wouldn't even know it. Sometimes, for most cases, some of us would get warnings, some of us not really, some of us wouldn't get a warning. Now, my sister apparently doesn't get a warning. Me, I actually do get a warning sometimes, but rare, but I usually get them in my sleep. Now, me, I get it every 2 years, if I'm lucky. My sister, though, she intends to get it every single year. Unfortunately, I did actually have a seizure last year. So usually with the seizures, it's kind of dangerous to lay on your back, because it can lead to death. And when I was in school in my teenager years, I actually nearly died, unfortunately, nearly. Just like my sister nearly died when she was an infant, because what happens is your lips would go blue and you'd die from oxygen. Apparently me and my sister actually have nearly died because of the oxygen thing or whatever, but we've managed to survive. Also to apparently prove it, there's my bracelet. I've actually got my lanyard as well. Also, I do actually take pills. Five a day, 5 in the, basically it's like, 10 one day, but 5 in the morning, 5 at night. Now, apparently I hate taking epileptic pills because most of the time I get depression from this. I hate being isolated in the house. I don't like not going out. So I always kind of wish I never had epilepsy, then I'd be able to get out every single day, but I can't. So whenever I was talking to a social worker years back, I actually had to tell the worker that I couldn't take any risks. I couldn't take any risks going to work and having the seizures in front of people, because the life of me would be in the balance of people that would know how to deal with epilepsy, and it would also result in me getting sent to the hospital. Now, the thing is with that, a lot of people don't know how to deal with seizures, and it could lead to death in epileptics like me. In my type of epilepsy, I actually wish I had a different seizures than the one I have now. I wish I had focal epilepsy rather than the one I have now. That's how dangerous it is. So that's why I can't do any work whatsoever. I can't, because epilepsy is actually also to do with pressure in the brain. So like if I'm pressured or whatever, also I can actually get migraines. So usually when I get a migraine, my first instinct, especially if I feel a bit warm or whatever, I feel like a temperature, I always intend to lay down on the bed. So years back, I used to fall off the bed. My sister has suffered the worst. So apparently to prove this, we actually now have a bed guard. For basically, so we don't actually fall out the bed. Because reasons to this, my sister used to fall off the bed once and she blooded her face, unfortunately. So she had blood in her face, which was just not nice at all. Yeah, so apparently we have a bed guard. And apparently we wish we could live like everyone else. All the normal people out there, but we can't, unfortunately. It's tricky. Also, all that loneliness, and which is basically and whatever led to me being autistic, unfortunately. So this is why I collect plushies for a living. As well as merchandise. I collect a lot of merchandise. As you can see, I've got a lot of Sonic in the background, especially the curtains and such. So currently, I actually do have favorites, plushies and whatever. Mainly these two I sleep with, unfortunately. I mean, I do actually have my first ever plush. Now, this one has been with me since I was around 11. Now, he's actually been my motive plush whenever I was upset or whatever. Especially the time I had epilepsy. This plush has always stuck with me. Helped me get through everything, I guess you could say. You can literally tell by the bandages. Yeah, so this one has actually been a good memory of mine. Whatever, it's like it's like when you have a memory with something and whatever, and you don't want it to depart. So apparently this is actually my first ever Sonic plush. So it's kind of like a piece of me, in a way, in this plush. So that's why I would never depart with that plush. Yeah, so apparently that's actually helped me a lot at times, but I never take it on holiday because I don't want to wreck it. But, you know, having plushes usually helps, I guess, with comfort when I have seizures. I usually sleep on my side mostly, because without this plush I just can't seem to sleep properly. Like, I would tend to get restless and such. I know, pretty much all that. But yeah, epilepsy actually sucks, unfortunately. It's, again, mine is genetic. It's not good, unfortunately. Because the one mistake is with epilepsy, with the genetic kind, is it can pass on to other people and whatever. Like, it can pass on to children, or if you're lucky, you could pass, it could literally pass them, but it could end up in basically grandchildren, in other words. Now, it's weird with the whole family thing. It actually did, come from my dad's side of the family, and me and my sister have been cursed ever since. So apparently we don't know who the upper up of the family that actually got epilepsy. We have no idea. We basically know one thing. It's nothing to do with my dad's sister, because she most likely got it from someone else. Even though my dad was lucky not to get it, my dad's sister though, not as lucky, unfortunately. She ended up getting it. But some cases it does skip generations. And lucky situations, not as much. So usually it's best, the people that have epilepsy, it's not best to have any children until cure is an option. But for me, I'm not really interested in having children. I just feel it's better, I think, because it would just cause more issues in life, like more stress and all that. Not good. I know I would make a terrible parent anyway, so I wouldn't bear, like, looking after someone that would have it in the end. Now, epilepsy can happen at any age, like literally any age. You can literally get it from a newborn, then lose it and then get it, or you can literally have it for the rest of your life from a newborn to a full-on adult. So apparently epilepsy is like a curse. There is a myth, like some sort of myth or whatever to do with like how it all started and whatever. I mean, it's just like made up, unfortunately. But apparently it goes back to the Aztecs, unfortunately. So the Aztec ages and whatever, to do with the sun god and the moon god. So even though the sun god was based off of something else and whatever, which basically I think could be connected to the allergy of certain people with sun allergies, you know, that would burn kind of like you would with vampires, but it's a bit similar, a bit different. Now, apparently it's just a bit similar or whatever. On the other side, you've got the moon god, which is to do with, like, you know, the werewolf side of things and all the dark side of things. So apparently the moon side is basically connected to epilepsy and whatever, you know, possession and all that, witchcraft. You kind of get the point. So apparently in the legend, like, the first person was cursed with epilepsy, and everyone around assumed it was person getting possessed by a demon entity, which is basically like possession away by all the twitching, you know, the person would do, which I actually connected to, you know, the shaking seizures, which most likely is the genetic kind that connect from the first, and, you know, and they keep going in a family tradition thing. So apparently, anyone that was basically shaking with seizures in the old ages, you know, in the dark ages, apparently were killed for witchcraft, and possession and all that, you know, physically assuming it was demon possession, so they were killed for that, and actually is shocking that all this legend, most of it was made up and whatever, just to, like, you know, think, yeah, okay, we have to kill these people. But yeah, that's literally how it went, unfortunately. It's pretty bad. And basically this is why I can't get a job, unfortunately. I've tried going to college, and that didn't work either, unfortunately, because everybody would always watch me 24/7 in college and whatever, and I just didn't like it, unfortunately. I was watched all the time. I couldn't do anything on my own. It was just so not annoying, especially when I went at the Unicorn Center to work with horses. It was the same thing. I was always watched, always, because of my epilepsy, and I just couldn't stand it. And I just felt like I was losing it. Which is why, you know, apparently with that, I just kind of felt like I just felt more depressed more than usual as the years went on with me having epilepsy. I always kept blaming doctors and whatever for not coming up with a cure yet, even though it took centuries to try and come up with one. Now, apparently, I know they're trying at this point to try and cure it, but it's not good enough, unfortunately, because I think a lot of people are dying because of seizures, and, you know, that's what has me scared, because I kind of fear I could die in my sleep one day, because it actually has happened with a actor that my sister likes. Now, he had epilepsy and he died in his sleep. He was called, like, Cameron Boyce. Unfortunately, he died of epilepsy in his sleep. And that's actually dangerous because you can get it just like that. Apparently you can get it at any time. The worst, kind of, painful thing in epilepsy. Yeah, so the worst thing in epilepsy is an instant sleeping death, which is very dangerous, unfortunately. But anyone that survives that can, you know, anyone with epilepsy can actually get a bit of a, can get memory loss, unfortunately. Whenever they have a seizure or whatever, you know, they actually can lose memory. But most cases, you know, your memory just gets weaker, when you have it. But it kinda is annoying when you think about it. Yeah, so basically that is the reason why, basically that my life is shit, unfortunately. Because I'm stuck doing the same thing every single day, you know, because of my illness or whatever, and if I tend to go out, I have to wait for my family, I guess, for when they're not busy so they can take me out. I mean, again, it's stressful, I tell you. So, again, to anyone, that basically attacked me in, you know, in my live stream, whatever, this video's to you lot. Now you basically know why I can't. So, in reality, it's really not my fault I'm like this. It's well, it's a number of issues, unfortunately. Also, the reason I'm autistic as well is because I don't have a father figure. Yeah, wanna know why? Because I don't even remember my own dad. My dad, unfortunately, got murdered by Gary Vinter. If anyone's read him in the UK or you know, in other countries and whatever, he's one of the worst in the UK, unfortunately. He actually murdered my dad, Carl Eden. Stabbed him a bunch of times in the back, unfortunately. Yeah, that is the reasons why I don't remember my dad, because even though I was around when he was around, I was just too young to remember my own dad. And as for my sister, though, my sister wasn't even born yet, but she was actually in my mom's womb at the time. So apparently, because of having no father figure, we developed these issues as we got older. We became artistic, we had more depression and whatever, as we grew older. And in most cases, we developed loneliness, among people, mostly. Now, I actually grew up not talking to most people. I usually avoided people, especially strangers. Most likely I still do with some people, most people anyway. I usually just don't talk to them. And it's because I'm wary that, you know, one of them's apparently bad or something like that. I'm usually very aware that, you know, I'm basically aware of every single turn that somebody actually could turn out to be like Gary Vinter. That's what I'm most likely scared of. And I do my best to protect the family, the best I can, so then they don't suffer the same fate as Gary Vinter. That's what I'm scared of, unfortunately. I mean, just the other day, I got worried. I got worried about a guy that was apparently following, well, I thought was following, but wasn't. And it was dark. Me and my mum were out. I got worried of this one guy basically that didn't look like he had plugs in at the time, however, until he got closer, and then I noticed, okay, he's not gonna go after us then. But that's what's in my instincts. When I see a strange person approaching or whatever, even though they're going the other way, I get suspicious that they're gonna do something, because I always look behind, and that's why I kind of fear, you know, when it's dark, like it was the other day, and a man, like, you know, especially if it's a young bloke, I don't know, I kind of fear it, you know what I mean, because usually strangers, you know, that I haven't met, like, men, when it's, like, late at night, I don't know, it feels scary to me. It's kind of like I'm worried that, you know, the instinct. I actually did have my mind in case he did go for me. I actually had my instincts of using my mum's walking stick, or crouch as you call it. I was actually, in my instincts, I was going to tend to use it, in defense. Just in case. You know, even though I've got epilepsy, I do my best to protect, my family from danger, especially since I'm sensitive, and whatever around people, you can kind of get why. It's my autism that does it. It kind of makes me aware, especially of any surrounding, environment, I get wary of that too, in case I do have a seizure. So also any changes to the house and whatever and all that, and whenever I still get suspicious, I always intend to overthink everything. It's because I don't want to actually suffer any more damage. Because I know one thing, if I get damage to the brain, it could cause me worse seizures than I've had before, which I've even stated with the family. Like, if the seizures ever got worse, and I end up getting more seizures in a year, I guess you could say, like, if I had more than 2 seizures a year, then I'd have to resort to a surgery, I guess you could say, where they take a bit of the thing out to do with the seizures. In some cases it works, in other cases it doesn't. And other ones with the smaller seizures works, I guess you could say. Like the ones that don't have generalized, I guess, the ones that don't have, you know, the ones that I've got, the ones that don't have the ones that I've got, probably a bit more likely to survive, I guess, not having the seizures, or they'll probably just have less of it, but I'm not sure about the ones that I have. I don't know if anyone, that has, you know, the ones that I have are able to get through the operations or whatever. I haven't heard anything from people like that. But yeah, so again, in the future, never mock anybody on why they're alone in a room playing a video game, and the reason they don't have a job. Yeah, that is the reason. Most cases, some just, you know, like playing games rather than getting a job because, well, it's more enjoyable, I guess you could say. It's fun. Some people don't actually have an illness, but, you know, they have autism and they just play games. You know what I mean, just like playing games. Some just can do work, I guess you could say. Some are just a bit more sensitive to even do jobs or whatever. Now, there's a lot of reasons as well to that, because, you know, with anyone that's sensitive, they actually wouldn't be able to focus on jobs at all. Now, apparently I'm one of those sensitive people, because I overreact, to people that attack me, and it's because of my mild autism. I sometimes can't help it. I get raged, I get upset about it. I just don't like it. But again, I just don't like being mocked. I wish people understood this. I wish people understood, you know, the reasons why, you know, I don't have much of a choice, unfortunately. So at least now everyone knows I forced to live like this for eternity, unfortunately, for the rest of my life, unfortunately. Yeah, so if you ever see me playing games and whatever, you basically know I'm stuck to that all the time. Except for some days when I can get out with family, because I can't go on my own, but I don't get out as much. I don't go out every single day, and now you know why I can't. It's my epilepsy holding me back. That's that's what's making it worse for me. But I'm still hoping that I get a cure for epilepsy one day, when eventually they make it, and maybe with that cure I'll be able to do stuff on my own, without my family members. I know millions of people are hoping for it, like really hoping for a cure, because the one thing I'm not happy about, I think, is basically that there's not that many charities out there to do with epilepsy at all. You don't see it around in public, which is shocking. And I think people should actually do charity for people with epilepsy, since it actually is dangerous. I mean, it's funny they do it for cancer, but not epilepsy, and I'm like thinking, well, why? I mean, epilepsy is, again, in the brain. So apparently it can happen with anyone, and also, there's another thing I would also state. So when someone jinxes epilepsy, and someone else that doesn't have it, it can jinx, unfortunately. Now, jinx is basically like bad luck. So jinxing someone to have a seizure would jinx and someone eventually having it. You know, again, someone that doesn't have it yet but ends up having it. Basically, it's a thing of bad luck, unfortunately. So, basically, I do suffer with bad luck. Because not only do I have, you know, seizures and all that, I suffer with also hay fever. Hay fever is the epilepsy is the absolute worst of all of them. I wish I could just get rid of one, and I really do wish I could just get rid of epilepsy. Then I'd be able to do more things in my life. I really do. I actually hate it, unfortunately. I wish I never had it. Yeah, so as a reminder to anyone watching this video, don't attack people that are playing games, you know, like, don't attack anyone that's, you know, don't basically judge people for not having a job and all that just because they're playing a video game. For most cases, it's not people's fault, unfortunately. Basically claiming, you know, that they don't have a job and should get a job and all that. It's not actually, shouldn't actually be, you know, basically judging that to people, because most people don't really have a choice. So most people shouldn't, so apparently for most people actually watching this, the ones that are actually against those haters, don't listen to them. You know what I mean? Basically, video gaming, whatever, usually helps with boredom, especially when you can't get out like I can. Yeah, so just don't listen to them, because they're jerks. Also, another thing I want to say is, you know what I mean, just kind of like, just like enjoy yourself and whatever. Most cases, anyone else or not, it's your choice. It's not the attacker's choice. So really, it's your choice on what you should be doing. Especially if you're gaming, whatever, it's your choice. Just like it is my choice to to not have a job because of this, because I don't want to risk having a seizure and whatever because of stress. So again, stress can cause you to feel weird, can cause you to feel a bit dizzy or have a temperature or a headache. Now, apparently if I do any kind of work, like, because I've actually done, like, things and, like, so apparently I've actually had headaches, a lot of the time. Now, headaches are worse than migraines because with headaches, you do intend to get them because of stress. So when you get a headache, it never goes away, unfortunately, especially if you take pills. So in some cases, I have had to think on my feet. So if I had a headache, I would get, like, when I was in school years back, I would always intend to be sent home because I couldn't stand that headache. But whenever I was in college, same thing, I'd get sent home. When I was in the Unicorn Center, same thing, I'd get sent home because, you know, headaches, I have to be wary of that because if I get a headache, it could cause me to feel a bit sick, I guess you could say, because I usually would feel a bit sick, because it would cause me to throw up and whatever, so I can get that, unfortunately. And I actually hate migraines and, you know, and headaches. Well, migraines are not as bad as just the headaches. If you get it, you know, you usually would struggle and whatever. Also, if I get a temperature, that's really bad. So usually with a temperature, I would intend to have a fan on my face, lay down on the bed, put the bed guard up, you know, and all that, wash my face and all that, making sure, you know, I'm comfortable, also having no covers on me and whatever, also having my family members check on me, because my family members always check on me, all the time to make sure I'm okay, I'm feeling alright, especially if I'm ill or whatever, they check on me, now and again, to make sure, you know, I'm not having a seizure. So when I also actually do check on my sister from now and again too, so to be aware that she doesn't have a seizure. So there you have it. So apparently that's the reason I can't do a lot of things in my life. Well, those right now I can't. But yeah, it's like if I go to if I go somewhere with flashing lights, that can give me a headache. If I'm around strobe lights, I have to wear glasses, so they don't give me, headaches, unfortunately. So this is why I don't like Christmas tree lights, and such, you know, like, because, you know, like, any flashing lights, I just hate it, because, also, I went on the, smaller, Alton Towers one time, and I came up with a headache. I also felt a bit sick, because of that, and I just didn't feel right, because I know the strobe lights did it to me, whatever, even though I had my eyes shut, on the, smaller ride in Alton Towers years back, but again, I suffer with this, a lot, but again, I just, I wish I never actually had the illness I have now. So basically for everyone, you know, for all the kids that thought I was younger than 30. Well, you were wrong. I actually am 30. I've been to college and whatever. I actually have been to school for until I was 16. I actually did join at the age of 11. So I actually did join my school when I was 11. I got bullied for years until the age of 16. I left. I ended up going to college and whatever and all that and whatever. Ended up working in animal care for a couple of years. Ended up going to the Unicorn Center, which worked for horses and whatever. I did go to art and design, which basically was a college. I actually went there before I did the animal care, unfortunately. So I've been nothing through but stress, unfortunately. I did go to so basically after all that, I did go to creative thinking, where I met my boyfriend for the first time, where we developed this relationship, whatever. Even when COVID hit, we had access to PSN and whatever, so we got closer than that, but not in the sort of closeness to make a kid. Yeah, not that close. Just close enough to get comfortable around each other, you know what I mean, all of that, and whatever, all that type of shit. But we've actually promised each other we wouldn't have a kid, and that's basically what we're going to do. Not have a kid at all, because I'm not gonna make the same mistake that my dad did to my mom. I'm not gonna make that mistake and pass on, epilepsy. So yeah, even if I get cured one day, I'm still not having a kid. Never in a million years. But I'd still develop good love relationship with my boyfriend, and so we'll have a wedding and whatever and all that in the future. I'd still love that. We're actually do have a kissy relationship. In like live streams and all that and whatever. We actually do seem to love each other and whatever. We kind of like classed as nerds. Because we like to video game a lot and whatever, which is pretty nice. But again, I don't like being attacked on live streams by, people saying basically that I should be this and I should be that. I should basically do this and I should be doing that. Like attacking, like saying, oh, you should get a job and all that. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, because again, I've stated that I would die if I had a job. I'd actually just die from a seizure and never wake up. That's what could happen to me. Which I think this video needs to spread to a lot of people, I guess. A lot of people, so that it's out there and people get to know that the reason why I can't get a job, the reason I can't is because of my illness. I just can't. Another reason is because I got hay fever. So hay fever is really bad with me, but I take my medication. But I just don't want that exposed pollen, and in a number of cases I would get a leaky nose and whatever. So basically, this is a couple that I have to take. So I take these 2 in the morning, 2 at night, same thing really. But I also take a bottle whenever, to drink like medicine. So it's like 2 spoonfuls of like, whatever it's called. But again, I have to take medication and it sucks. The number of things I have is ridiculous. Not only that, but I'm also allergic to chlorine. I'm allergic to makeup. I'm actually allergic to makeup. The illness is actually annoying because another thing I'm gonna say is basically chlorine is to, basically I've got medication for chlorine, so I have to, well, I've got 2 for chlorine, which I have to take before I go in the pool and after, so I don't get pink eye in my eyes. But as for my skin allergy, basically it to do with like makeup, and like, you know, like face paint. Apparently it's something in the chemicals, so my best bet's only to get safe, makeup, I guess, that doesn't have the components in it. It's funny because I can't wear no, blush, I can't wear eyeshadow, you know, also it's funny, I'm actually allergic to jewelry as well, like fake jewelry, so apparently I do have a watch, a real watch, so that's actually proof that it's not fake, because the watches I've had in the past basically always left a rash on my arm, but, you know, it sucks, unfortunately, but at least this is real, unfortunately, like bracelet and such, but yeah, it actually, again, sucks having all these illnesses. I wish I never had them. So, apparently that's all I'm gonna say for this, video and whatever. I hope everyone that sees this video understands, and I hope you spread it out and whatever. You know, and also basically know the reasons why I can't get a job. You know, basically it's best to spread this video out there so everyone knows why and whatever, and don't forget I've got a lanyard, with epilepsy on it. So, there it is. So, yeah, so apparently even though on the video it looks backwards, it actually is classed as epilepsy, so it's kind of like reading it, like that way, mostly, just reading it that way, you'll spell epilepsy out, because sometimes video actually reads things backwards, but again, yeah, try to get the video out there as much as possible and whatever, so that everyone knows I have an illness or whatever that is always misunderstood by people, scientists, doctors, a lot of people don't quite understand the illness properly yet, but again, hoping for a cure and whatever, so yeah, just in future, basically the 2 people that know that type people should you attack people whatever for not getting a job or whatever, don't, because basically I have to say that is just don't attack them, because the one thing I can say is you don't know them very well, you know what I mean? Some might have a job but they choose to be gaming. Some don't have a job because, you know, depression and all that and whatever, and it's just hopeless to get a job, or most people just can't work in a job because, you know, it doesn't work to them, most people. So I hope, most people understand this video and whatever, what I'm talking about and all of that. So, most likely I will probably make another video on epilepsy if it becomes to the right time or whatever, or if it has to be brought up again to remind people about it. Also, another thing I want to say is for the people basically basically to just click on a live stream, whatever. Research the videos first. You know what I mean? Look into the illnesses that I have, and then you'd understand why I suffer with an illness. Basically, that's all I apparently can say and whatever. So stay tuned for another epilepsy video in the future. So bye.